The iPhone XS came out just a few days ago, and I've been using it ever since I got it. It's better, but not by much. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be talking about some of my impressions of the iPhone XS and why it's kind of just an insignificant step forward. $1,000, let's get that out of the way. The iPhone XS is expensive for a reason. It's a very good phone, but I would never ever recommend spending that much on a smartphone. It's just ridiculous. I guess do as I say, not as I do, and don't buy the iPhone XS unless you really can afford it and really want it. Especially don't buy the XS if you already have the iPhone X, because while the iPhone XS is a small step forward, it really isn't all that much better, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, what are some of my initial thoughts? I've been using it for like 4 days now, and it's nice, I guess. It really doesn't feel any different than my iPhone X, to be honest. Face ID actually does feel a little faster, which is admittedly much appreciated. The phone itself is legitimately faster, although to be honest, the X is already so good, it doesn't really feel too much different. But I'll imagine the extra processing power and 4 gigs of RAM will extend its life down the road, and so I'm glad for it. The camera is actually surprisingly the best thing I've noticed about this phone. Portrait mode seems way cleaner to me and much more consistent. Selfie portrait mode sucks, of course, but the rear camera has been getting me some really nice shots, and the ability to change the background blur is super cool. But that's about it. Otherwise, if you told me this was an iPhone X, I'd probably believe you. Actually, one annoyance is that the camera on the back seems to be sized slightly differently, which is a pain because my red leather case that I had on my iPhone X doesn't seem to fit perfectly. My other cases seem to fit it okay, like this Spigen case here, but still, it's a huge pain, and I don't know why they changed it. The iPhone XS isn't really meant to be a huge upgrade over the 10, but more of an incremental step forward. I keep saying the word step forward, but that's pretty much what this is. It's slightly better, but really not much. And that's fine, but I do have some complaints about it. As far as S upgrades go, I think this is the smallest we've ever seen. The iPhone 3GS was way faster and had video recording when it came in. The iPhone 4S was dual core, had an 8 megapixel camera, and Siri. The iPhone 5S gosh darn it, Siri. The iPhone 5S was 64-bit. The iPhone 5S was 64-bit and had Touch ID. The iPhone 6S had a much better build quality, a 12 megapixel camera, and was a lot faster. Meanwhile, the iPhone XS has a slightly better camera and is faster. And I suppose, fair enough, there is a larger size option. There's also a couple other things here and there, like IP68 waterproofing, but really, I think this is the smallest upgrade we've seen to an iPhone, except for potentially the iPhone 8. Well, unless you count the iPhone 5C, I guess, as an upgrade to the iPhone 5, which it really wasn't. The iPhone XS is an upgrade, but it's an insignificant one, and there are a couple reasons for this, I think. I've heard rumors say that the iPhone X was originally planned to launch this year instead of last year, but they sped things up due to the competition getting better. If that was true, it would explain the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus for one thing. The iPhone X was a huge comprehensive upgrade, and I think what may have happened is that they really didn't leave much room for improvement with this year's flagship. This speaks very highly of the iPhone X and shows just how big of a deal it really was, but it does leave us in the unfortunate situation this year of not having a whole lot that's new. Now, don't get me wrong, the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max are great phones. I'm enjoying the smaller XS, it's really solid, but so was the iPhone X, and I'm not really feeling any better on this phone than I did on that one. Those who have an iPhone X right now really shouldn't upgrade unless they desperately want the bigger XS Max and have money to burn, or maybe a YouTube channel with around 50,000 subscribers and way too much time on their hands. But if you don't have an iPhone X, then the XS is a decent phone. Maybe you're holding out on the iPhone 6S or something like that and are finally wanting to upgrade. The XS is good. It's really good. It's just not a big upgrade over the 10, that's all, right? Well, I would recommend waiting for next year because there is probably going to be a nicer phone with probably smaller notch. There's nothing wrong with wanting the XS right now, and there's a reason it directly replaced the iPhone X. It's because there was no point of keeping it around. The phones are very similar. Don't think of the XS as a specifically separate entity as the iPhone X. Think of it as simply the iPhone X improved. It's the definition of an S upgrade when it comes to Apple, even if it is like the smallest one we've seen. So what does this all boil down to? Not much. I guess what I'm saying is that although the XS is pretty unexciting and is perhaps the smallest iPhone upgrade ever, it also holds its own and is a perfectly great smartphone right now, at least if you can stomach the price tag. I think the insignificance of this phone is just a testament to how ahead of things the iPhone X was. It really was a great phone, and I think it's actually going to be looked back at as like the beginning of the modern era of smartphones with no home buttons and eventually all screen displays. But that's just what I think, and I'm some random dude on the internet. I have a full iPhone XS 10s review on the way, but I am trying to spend a lot of time on this one, so it might be a bit before I post it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. What are your thoughts on the iPhone XS? Because frankly, mine are irrelevant, and so I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know in the comments down below. You can always follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you so desire, links below. And also, side note, it looks like we just hit 50,000 subscribers today. Either that or we're about to, because technically when I'm looking, we haven't yet, but like by the time I post this, hopefully we have. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.